Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurabhishta Shapudakam Guru Ganeshisha Sambhushidam Ch.Ch Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Pantanagam Govinda Biramuchvalam Bharatanam Bhaktyam Vitam Sundaram Vande Vishwa Guruncha Divya Bhagavat Premnahi Vijaparam. So we are continuing with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we have come to chapter 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And this is quite an important chapter within Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it is a description of Mahaprabhu. How can we say, defeating the Mayavad conception, and in his discussion with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And so for that reason, we've heard Srila Gurudev mention that this is one of the chapters which Srila Sridhar Maharaj personally gave Srila Gurudev instruction on. Srila Gurudev was giving the instruction to study Chaitanya Charitamrita. Oh, Pandita's here with us, Chai. But then there were a few chapters which Srila Sridhar Maharaj personally gave Srila Gurudev instruction on. And so this was one of them. Madhya Lila chapter 2, Madhya Lila chapter 6, this chapter, and then chapter 8, and then also Mahaprabhu's instructions to Rupa and Sanatan. So it's important for us. Nowadays it may not be as relevant as it was, at that time, because we're just not dealing with that type of, conceptual challenge, shall we say, in the current environment. And I mean, Mayavad in the sense of people having an impersonal idea, but not like this, systematic conception. Like, they're actually following a school of thought, So it's kind of like a different situation nowadays. But this is back in Srila Gurudev's young years, just like in the 40s, it was more of an issue. And we heard Srila Gurudev mention how Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Swami Maharaj, they would spend hours, when they would meet, they would spend hours discussing this point, like how to defeat Mayavad. It was like a very pressing issue for them, but it's still, very valuable for us to, and even if we don't have to deal with this in our daily lives, it's reaffirming to our own faith to see how challenges to that can be, dealt with. So we will happily hear this. And it's also just, for me, the thing that, there's also like so much, it's not just like a dry philosophical discourse, but there's so much rasa, in the relationship between Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, how it develops, it's so sweet, and the transformation that takes place in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya goes from one extreme to the other. This incredible transformation takes place in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So that's also wonderful to observe, as we're going through this. We've started, yeah. But it's okay, you can still come in. It's not a closed door once we start. So it's very beautiful. There's also some humor, in the exchanges between Sarvabhauma and his brother-in-law, Gopinathacharya. So, there's a lot going on in this chapter. Okay. So we can start. Nomitam Gaur Chandram Ya Kutarka Karka Shashayam Sarvabhaumam Sarvabhuma Bhakti Bhumanam Achara. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Gaur Chandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who converted the hard-hearted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the reservoir of all bad logic, into a great devotee. Jaya Jaya Gaur Chandra, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Aveshe Chalila Prabhu Jagannath Mandire, Jagannatha Deki Preme Hoila Astire. In ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went from Ataranala to the temple of Jagannath. After seeing Lord Jagannath, he became very restless due to love of Godhead. So remember, Mahaprabhu was alone because he was angry because Nityananda broke his danda, and so he said, I'm not traveling with you guys anymore. You can go ahead of me or you can go after me, but we're not going together. And so they tell him, no, you can go ahead and we'll follow you. So Mahaprabhu was alone coming to Puri. After seeing Lord Jagannath, he became very restless due to love of Godhead. Jagannath alingite cholila daya, manjire porila preme avishta hoya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went swiftly to embrace Lord Jagannath. But when he entered the temple, he was so overwhelmed with love of Godhead that he fainted to the floor. Daive sarvabhauma tahake kore darashan, poricha madite teho koiloni vadam. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya happened to see him. When the watchman threatened to beat the Lord, Sarvabhauma immediately forbade him. So, this is a very unfortunate man. He's Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy and he's thinking he's a madman. And he wants to. I mean, of course, if it was someone else, then it would be understandable. Someone's making some big hullabaloo in the Lord's temple and some emotional, scene. But to not be able to recognize, Mahaprabhu, that this is some genuine, ecstatic mood, that is very unfortunate. But then on the other hand, Sarvabhauma gets this opportunity, and this is also an extraordinary thing, and it's kind of like a puzzle. I remember discussing, Shuddha Srivastava discussed this point. I don't remember if he came to a resolution on it. I think he might have even asked Gurudev. But the fact that Sarvabhauma is a Mayavadi, he's an impersonalist, but he's able to recognize the symptoms of divine love, in Mahaprabhu. And he can see this is something real, in Mahaprabhu. And so he has some protective mood towards him. So when the watchman threatened to beat the Lord, Sarvabhauma immediately forbade him. Prabhur sandarja ar preme vikar, dekhi Sarvabhauma hoila vishmita par. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very surprised to see the personal beauty of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as well as the transcendental transformations wrought on his body due to love of Godhead. Bahukane Chaitanya nahe voger kalo hoilo, Sarvabhauma mane tobe upai chintilo. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained unconscious for a long time. Meanwhile, the time for offering prasadam, or the time for offering bhoga, as it says in the Bengali, the time for offering bhoga to Lord Jagannath came, and the Bhattacharya tried to think of a remedy. I mean, this is incredible. Like, he's there. Sarvabhauma is there for several hours, like with the Lord, waiting with him and thinking how to take care of this extraordinary person, how to help him. Shishya paricha dwara prabhu nilo vahaya koreani pavitrastane rakilo shoyaya. While Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, with the help of the watchman and some disciples, carried him to his home and laid him down in a very sanctified room. So he's brought him to his own home. Swasha praswasana udar spandan dekhiya chintita hoila bhattacharyaman. Examining the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma saw that his abdomen was not moving and that he was not breathing. Seeing his condition, the Bhattacharya became very anxious. Shukshma tulani nasa agrete dorila isha chaloye tula dekidar jahoilo. The Bhattacharya then took a fine cotton swab and put it before the Lord's nostrils. When he saw the cotton move very slightly, he became hopeful. Bosi Bhattacharya mane koden vichar, e Krishna Mahapremya satvika vikar. Sitting beside Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he thought, this is a transcendental, ecstatic transformation brought about by love of Krishna. Krishna Maha Premer Satvika Vikar. Sudipta Sadvikaye Namje Praloy Nitya Siddha Bhakti Se Sudipta Bhava Hoy. Upon seeing the sign of Sudipta Satvika, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could immediately understand the transcendental ecstatic transformation in the body of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such a sign takes place only in the bodies of eternally liberated devotees. I'll read this purport. The word Sudipta Sattvika, this is what Sarvabhauma is recognizing in Mahaprabhu, is explained as follows by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu mentions 8 kinds of transcendental transformations in the bodies of advanced devotees. These are sometimes checked by the devotee, and there are 2 stages of such checking, technically known as Dumayita and Jwalita. The Dumayita, because these devotees, when these symptoms are coming, they're not eager to display them, right? So they're trying to, before they become manifest, they're trying to stop them, to check them. So there are 2 stages. The Dumayita smoking stage is exhibited when only 1 or 2 transformations are slightly present and it is possible to conceal them. When more than 2 or 3 transcendental transformations are manifest and it is still possible to conceal them, although with great difficulty, that stage is called Jwalita, lighted. Oh, I see, like a fire getting stronger, these analogies. So the first stage, like the smoke is starting, but the fire hasn't sparked yet. And then the next, there's some spark that's coming, but it's still possible to conceal. When 4 or 5 symptoms are exhibited, the Deepta, blazing stage, has been reached. When 5, 6, or all 8 symptoms are simultaneously manifest, that position is called Udipta, inflamed. And when all 8 symptoms are multiplied 1,000 times and are all visible at once, the devotee is in the Sudipta, intensely inflamed stage. Nitya Siddha Bhakta indicates the eternally liberated associates of the Lord. Such devotees enjoy the company of the Lord in 4 relationships: as servant, friend, parent, or conjugal lover. So Mahaprabhu is showing this sattvic, this sudipta, this intensely inflamed state of that, like the highest expression. Wow, amazing. So there's the Dumayita, the smoking, just beginning to manifest, Dwalita, Dumayita, then Dwalita, yes, then Deepta, blazing, then Udipta, inflamed, and then Sudipta, intensely inflamed. Wow, amazing. You see, because like we think of persons like Srila Gurudev, not that we've met many of such persons, but persons like that who we met, 1 equals 1. But like what was going on, we don't actually know, that's how I'm reading this. It's like revelatory for me, like Gurudev was going through that. And actually, there were a few senior qualified devotees, in particular Shuddhashava Prabhu. And I heard also that Sagar Maharaj said the same thing, that when Srila Gurudev was showing symptoms of illness, they felt that this is actually what was going on. That he was disguising his ecstatic symptoms as some kind of illness. I also Shuddha Prabhu told me that, and then I heard from Bhakti Lalita that Sagar Maharaj used to say the same thing. And then this one devotee in Australia told me this, that there was this one time that Gurudev was, he had been unwell. He'd been showing himself to be very unwell, and I don't want to say exactly what it was, partly because I don't exactly remember. But anyhow, it was showing some serious signs of illness, and then later that devotee went to Gurudev. This was Karunamoy Prabhu, who's quite a character, Karunamoy Prabhu, quite a devotional character, very, very hearty. But he went to Srila Gurudev and expressed some sympathy or something, and Gurudev, I can't remember the exact words he told me, but Gurudev said something to him like, "What are you talking about? This is all because of the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu." Or, what was it? I can't remember. It was something more indicating like it was actually an expression of love. I can't remember exactly what he said. But something like that made him, Karunamoy, whoa, something else is going on here. He said something like that, And, normally Gurudev wouldn't reveal his inner world, but sometimes, in very rare occasions, Like in Gurudev, I was watching one video of Gurudev yesterday, and I've only seen this in 1 or 2 places, or heard, I never saw myself, but 1 or 2 places, on recordings, I heard Gurudev mentioned how he would speak with the deities sometimes, they had some relationship, Now, normally he was concealing that, but there were, some rare occasions when he would, share something of that. So, we don't, just to say, like, what was Gurudev's inner world, we don't really know, and we're hearing these descriptions, these different stages of ecstasy, and and how the devotees are trying to conceal that, and wow. And then we're dealing with all our kindergarten problems, and Gurudev has to listen to that, while there's he's going to this, this whole other world, and we're in babyland, How magnanimous. Incredible. But so anyhow, so Mahaprabhu, he's showing this highest, most extreme stage of ecstasy. Sudipta sattvika. Inflamed. And Sarvabhauma, inconceivably, he can recognize that. Adiduda bhavja tare vikar, manushya dehe deki bodo chamatkar. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya considered the uncommon ecstatic symptoms of Adiruddha Bhav are appearing in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very wonderful. How are they possible in the body of a human being? Purport: Adiruddha Bhav or Adiruddha Mahabhav is explained in the Ujjvala Nilamani of Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes Rupa Goswami as follows: the loving propensity of the Ashray devotee toward the Vishay, Lord, becomes so ecstatic that even after enjoying the company of the beloved, the devotee feels that his enjoyment is insufficient. At such a time, the lover sees the beloved in different ways. Such a development of ecstasy is called anurag. When anurag reaches its highest limit and becomes perceivable in the body, it is called bhav. When the bodily symptoms are not very distinct, however, the emotional state is still called anurag, not bhav. When bhav ecstasy is intensified, it is called mahabhav. The symptoms of mahabhav are visible only in the bodies of eternal associates like the gopis. Eta chinti bhattacharya achen vosya nityanandi simhadvade miridasya. While the Bhattacharya was thinking in this way at his home, because by this time, I guess I got lost. Sarvabhauma has brought him to his home. Yeah, he carried him to his home. Some type of palanquin or something. Or maybe he just carried him. Anyway, that's just so amazing that he would, this stranger to him, take care of him with such care and attention for hours, watching him and bringing him to his own. He doesn't know who he is. He's bringing him to his own house. It's incredible. And so then you can understand, why Mahaprabhu is so tolerant of him. For 7 days, Mahaprabhu is listening to him. Because Mahaprabhu is just accepting his affection. And Gopinath is getting really annoyed about the situation, and Mahaprabhu's he's my well-wisher, so it's very beautiful to see. So while the Bhattacharya was thinking in this way at his home, all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Nityananda Prabhu, approached the Simhadwara, the entrance door of the temple. Tahashune loke kohe anyanye bat, eka sannyasi asi deki Jagannath. There the devotees heard the people talking about a mendicant who had come to Jagannath Puri, and seen the deity of Jagannath. Morchita hoilo cheta na hoi shodire, sarvabhoma loya gela panada gode. The people said that the sannyasi had fallen unconscious upon seeing the deity of Lord Jagannath. Because his consciousness did not return, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had taken him to his home, though the news has spread. Shuni sabe janile Mahaprabhur karja, enokale ailataha gopinata charja. Hearing this, the devotees could understand that they were speaking of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just then, Sri Gopinathacharya arrived. Nadia nivasi visharader jamata Mahaprabhur bhakta teho prabhu tattva gyata. Gopinathacharya was a resident of Nadia, the son-in-law of Vishadad, and a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He knew the true identity of his lordship. Purport: Maheshwar Visharada was a classmate of Nilambar Chakravarti's. And Nilambar Chakravarti is the father of Ch.Ch. Mata, if I'm not mistaken. So, Maheshwar Visharada is a friend of Mahaprabhu's grandfather. And this Gopinathacharya is the son-in-law of Visharada. So, he's originally from Navadvip, that's the point. And he has some, relationship with Mahaprabhu's family. And this Visharada lived in Nadia, in a village called Vidyanagar, and had two sons named Madhusudan Vachaspati and Vasudev Sarvabhauma. Right. So then Gopinathacharya is also the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma. Mukunda sahita porve ache parichoy, Mukunda deki atar hoilo vishmoy. Gopinathacharya had previously been acquainted with Mukunda Datta, and when the Acharya saw him at Jagannath Puri, he was very much astonished. Mukunda tahare deki koilo namaskar, teho alingiya puche prabhur samachar. Wow, is that a storm raging out there? Wow, look at that rain. Yeah, it wouldn't be safe. Mukunda Datta offered obeisances. Where am I? So Gopinathacharya had previously been acquainted with Mukunda Datta, and Mukunda Datta is in this group who's come from Navadvip, right, with Nityananda. Yes. So Gopinath, he'd known Mukunda because he's originally from Navadvip too, and so then when he sees Mukunda, he's very much astonished. When the Acharya saw him at Jagannath Puri, he was very much astonished. Said, "What are you doing here?" Mukunda tahare deki koilo namaskar, teho alingiya puche prabhur samachar. Mukunda Datta offered obeisances unto Gopinathacharya upon meeting him. Then the Acharya embraced Mukunda Datta and inquired about news of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's here! Mukunda ko he Prabhu. And not only that, he's in the home of your brother-in-law. Nobody told me. Mukunda ko he Prabhu how hoilo agamane amisa basiyachi Mahaprabhu sane. Mukunda Datta replied, "The Lord has already arrived here. We have come with him." Nityananda Gosai ke Acharya koilo namaskar, sobe meli puche Prabhu varta bar bar. As soon as Gopinathacharya saw Nityananda Prabhu, he offered his obeisances unto him. In this way, meeting all the devotees, he asked about news of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. Mukunda kohe Mahaprabhu sanyas koriya nila chole aila sange amasa baloya. Mukunda Datta continued, after accepting the sannyas order, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Jagannath Puri and has brought all of us with him. Amasaba chadiyage geladada shane, amisa pache aila taran vishane. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left our company and walked ahead to see Lord Jagannath. We have just arrived and are now looking for him. Anyanye loke muke jekata shunila, sarvabhoma grihe prabhu anumana koilo. From the talk of the people in general, we have guessed that the Lord is now at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Ishvar darshane prabhu premeya chetan, Sarvabhauma loya gelapan bhavan. Upon seeing Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became ecstatic and fell unconscious. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has taken him to his home in this condition. Tomar milane jabe amar hoilo man, daivase kane pailu tomar dadashan. Just as I was thinking of meeting you, by chance we have actually met. So this is Mukunda speaking to Gopinath. Cholo sobe jai sarvabhaumer bhavam, Prabhu deki pache koribo ishwar dadasham. Let us all go to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later we shall come to see Lord Jagannath. Eta shuni gopina sabade loya, Sarvabhauma godegela hadashita hoya. Hearing this and feeling so this is conveying their urgency, because normally, that's like sacrilegious, like you come to the holy place, you come to Jagannath Puri, and you're going to see Jagannath is one of the first things you'll do. And later there's a very humorous description of the king. He's on a rooftop, and it's actually with Sarvabhauma, which makes it even more humorous. And the king, when he's on the rooftop, it happens to be this moment when this group of Bengali Vaishnavas arrive into Puri to see Mahaprabhu, like about 200 Mahabhagavat Vaishnavas. And normally when you come, you come to a holy place, there's some procedure, you're meant to bathe, you're meant to shave and bathe, you're meant to be fasting, and then you go to see Jagannath, and there's particular conventions that you follow. But so the king, he's on this rooftop and he watches how this group of devotees, and they're in ecstasy, in ecstatic kirtan, Prema Nama Sankirtan, I think it's called. And they completely ignore Jagannath, and they go and bathing and everything, they just go running to Mahaprabhu's residence. And not only that, but then the king observes how some other devotees, sent by Mahaprabhu, they go to make some arrangements for prasadam, and so they're bringing these big quantities of prasadam to serve these devotees, So the king's what's going on? They're not bathing, they're not fasting, they're not going to see Jagannath, they're just going directly to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, And the king, he was a devotee of Mahaprabhu, he loved Mahaprabhu, but still he was puzzled, how you could ignore all of these religious, conventions, And then Sarvabhauma, he explains, by this time Sarvabhauma is a fanatic, of Mahaprabhu. And he explains that there's two types of devotion. There's vidhi and there's rag. There's the regulative devotional practice according to the scriptures, and then there's devotional expression, which is just based on spontaneous, love, And so this is what you're witnessing right now. They're just following the pull of their hearts, to the Lord, and they don't need to follow all of these, conventions. So, again, here they're feeling this urgency, see Mahaprabhu, and so we'll go later to see the Lord. Eta shuni gopinath sabade loya, sarvabhoma gorigela harashita hoya. Hearing this and feeling very pleased, Gopinath Acharya immediately took all the devotees with him and approached the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma stane giya Prabhu ke dekilo, Prabhu deki Acharya dukaharsha hoilo. Arriving at the home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, everyone saw the Lord lying unconscious. Seeing him in this condition, Gopinath Acharya became very unhappy, but at the same time he was happy just to see the Lord. Sarvabhaume janaya sabenila bhyantade, Nityananda gosayide teho koilo namaskade. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya permitted all the devotees to enter his house, and upon seeing Nityananda Prabhu, the Bhattacharya offered him obeisances. Sabha sahit jata jogja korilo milan, Prabhu deki sabha hoilo harashitaman. Sarvabhauma met with all the devotees and offered them a proper welcome. They were all pleased to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma patailo sabha darshan kodite, Chandaneshwa nija putra dilo sabharsate. The Bhattacharya then sent them all back to see Lord Jagannath, and he asked his own son, Chandaneshwar, to accompany them as a guide. Jagannath deki sabha hoilo ananda, pavete avishta hoila Prabhu Nityananda. Everyone was then very pleased to see the deity of Lord Jagannath. Lord Nityananda in particular was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Sobemeli doritade sustira korilo, Ishwar sevak mala prashada nidilo. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu nearly fainted, all the devotees caught him and steadied him. At that time, the priest of Lord Jagannath brought a garland that had been offered to the deity and offered it to Nityananda Prabhu. So, I guess it's kind of like when you're going through immigration or something, or you're applying for a visa. Like, it just depends on the guy who's there, like what mood, who it is, and what kind of mood they're in, Because when Mahaprabhu's there, then the guy wants to beat him. He wants to beat Mahaprabhu. There's some watchman who wants to beat Mahaprabhu because Mahaprabhu is showing this ecstasy, but he just thinks he's showing some, emotion and making a scene. But when Nityananda comes, then he's offering him a garland. Is this the same person? No, it's a different person. That's what I'm saying. It's like when you're applying for a visa or something, like, I hope I get one of the good ones, or something, or immigration, or UK immigration, like. Yeah. So this pujari, he can recognize, Nityananda's not an ordinary person, this divine emotion. He's going to offer him a garland, And there are other occasions also we hear when Mahaprabhu is there, and they give him some special prasadam. They can recognize, So that was some particularly unfortunate person, who could not see. So the pujaris brought a prasad mala to Nityananda Prabhu.
Pashadapaya sobe hoila nandita mane, punarapi aila sobe Mahaprabhur stane.
Everyone was pleased to receive this garland worn by Lord Jagannath. Afterwards, they all returned to the place where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is staying.
Uchakori kore sab nam sankirtan, Tritiya prahare hoilo Prabhu Chaitam.
All of the devotees then began to loudly chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Just before noon, the Lord regained his consciousness. So, this is a point here that, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he mentioned how he recalled this when he observed someone who would show some symptoms of ecstasy, but then, like the snap of a finger, come back to like normal consciousness. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentioned how he remembered like descriptions of Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Charitamrita, how it would take him hours, It's not the snap of a finger, once you go into that state, then it takes a long time. It's a gradual process to come out, to come back, And so there was this one Babaji who was very celebrated in Vrindavan, but Saraswati Thakur had indicated that he wasn't, all that, And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj went to observe him for himself, and he saw how he could like induce like foam and like tears and all kinds of stuff, there are like actors who can do that. They can cry on demand, and maybe he even did work himself up in some type of emotional state, which we can do, but it's not that it was real divine ecstasy, And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj, observing that, he was remembering these descriptions of Mahaprabhu, and then this is suspect, It would not be such a quick transition, And so you see Mahaprabhu is for hours, he's in that state, and then gradually coming back.
Hunkar kariye ute Hari Hari boli, Anande sarvabhauma thar loilo pada duli.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and very loudly chanted, Hari Hari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very pleased to see the Lord regain consciousness, and he took the dust of the Lord's lotus feet.
Sarvabhauma kohe shigra kodoho madhyan, Mui Bhiksha Dimuaji Mahaprasadana.
The Bhattacharya informed all of them, Please take your midday baths immediately. Today I shall offer you Mahaprasadam, the remnants of food offered to Lord Jagannath. It's so nice to go through these, pastimes again and again, because every time something new kind of, jumps out at you by the Lord's grace and Gurudev's grace. And this is actually interesting, this point here, because normally when you're going to take prasadam, you will be clean beforehand. And we saw with Srila Gurudev, it was like a sacred thing, especially his noontime prasadam, and he would always bathe, before prasadam, and have fresh cloth, before he would take. And so the Bhattacharya Sarvabhauma is, saying he wants to give them prasad, Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath. And especially Mahaprasad, that's very special. So he's telling them, please take your baths now, and then afterwards we'll take prasadam, right? This is the convention. But then what's very interesting, and there's many interesting, what's the word, points of comparison in, it's just brilliant. The whole thing is so brilliant, how you can compare on different points how Sarvabhauma changes after his conversion. Because I don't know if you're maybe not familiar. Sarvabhauma was a very big Mayavadi and scholar. and then he.
Converted by Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, and then he became like this fanatic devotee of Mahaprabhu. And so it's quite humorous, like on some points, like you see how like the before and after, and he says like completely opposite things, you know.
That's so cool.
Yeah, or like showing how he's going from one extreme to the other, you know.
Yeah.
But this is just a little point I just noticed that you know, here he's like, you know, saying like, you know, like he's like laying out the normal standard of things. You know, you take your bath and then we'll honor Mahaprasadam in the proper way. But then later there's this wonderful meeting. It's so beautiful, the relationship between Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma. Like after Mahaprabhu has like changed his heart, then the next morning, you know, nothing's been quite defined yet. Sarvabhauma's head is kind of reeling and his heart's like, you know, churning and then the next day, very early in the morning, like right after the Mangalarti, Mahaprabhu's, so maybe this is like 4:30 or 5 in the morning, Mahaprabhu's been to the Mangalarti, and then he comes straight to Sarvabhauma's house and knocks on his door. And Sarvabhauma, he wasn't up for Mangalarti. but so you know he like got out of bed and to receive Mahaprabhu. So he's like, you know, unclean, you know. And I don't think that would have been like an embarrassment. It's just, you know, it's still early, and he's a grihasta, you know. But sorry, I don't mean to be down on grihastas. I hope that didn't come out wrong. I mean, it's just a different lifestyle, you know.
Yeah. It's just you have to live a certain way as a grihasta.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the point here. The point is that, so he comes out of bed, he hasn't bathed, hasn't washed his mouth or anything, comes to receive Mahaprabhu. What does Mahaprabhu do? Mahaprabhu gives him some Mahaprasad. And what does Sarvabhauma do? He doesn't wash his mouth, he doesn't brush his teeth, he doesn't say, oh, I'm sorry, I need to go take a shower first. He immediately takes that prasad from the hand of Mahaprabhu and immediately takes it. And then Mahaprabhu is overjoyed. And Mahaprabhu said, today I feel that I have conquered the 3 worlds, because now Sarvabhauma has so much appreciation for Mahaprasad that he's immediately taking it without concerning himself, you know, with all of these, you know, formalities, you know. You know, I mean, of course, it is, you know, proper to bathe, etc., etc. But in a situation like that, where Mahaprasad's being like handed to you, it would be the superior, you know, decision to say, I'm just going to immediately take it. You know, and so Mahaprabhu is overjoyed about that, and so it's interesting to see the comparison here, where he's like particularly telling them, make sure you all take a bath, and then we'll take prasada. You know. Yeah, and there's other points too, like in their so Sarvabhauma and Gopinath, they have some like friction because Sarvabhauma takes it upon himself to educate Mahaprabhu. You know, he wants to upgrade Mahaprabhu. He sees Mahaprabhu as like a young sannyasi who he's going to take under his wing, and Gopinath, his brother-in-law, is a devotee of Mahaprabhu, and he can't tolerate this, and so they have some friction on this point, you know. But what's very humorous is that in their discussion, there's one, and it is like there's some like irritation, but there's also some kind of like banter, like kind of, you know, it's like relatives. There's also some element of like a friendly banter. And like, so at a certain point, Gopinath is like, you know what? It's not your fault that you can't recognize him, because you can only recognize the Lord if you get his mercy, and you haven't got his mercy, so you can't recognize him, so it's not your fault, Like at one point he's like that, And then Sarvabhauma's like, well, what's the evidence that you received the mercy? And then Gopinath says, because I can recognize him. It's self-evident truth, It's wonderful. But there's this one beautiful verse that Gopinath quotes as evidence of this point, that you can only know the Lord by his mercy. Atapi te deva parambuja dvai prasada leshana vihite vahi janati tattvam bhagavan vahimno. I can't remember the last line. Vichinvan. But saying that you can endeavor to try to understand the Lord for so many ages of time, but if one just receives a drop of his mercy, then you can immediately understand, everything. So, with your mental power, your intellectual power, you may try to know him. But that will be fruitless. For so many lifetimes you can do that. But if you just get a little prasada lesh, a drop of his mercy, then you will know everything. This is one of it's just spoken by Lord Brahma in the Bhagavatam. And so Gopinath, this is one of Gopinath's arguments to Sarvabhauma. And then later on, after Sarvabhauma's had his change of heart, then and I think it might be on that same rooftop meeting, Sarvabhauma and the king, when they saw the devotees coming. And the king asks to Sarvabhauma, it's so obvious that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, and there's descriptions in the scripture, so why doesn't everybody see this? Something like this. And then Sarvabhauma quotes that exact verse that Gopinath had preached to him, and now Sarvabhauma, he quotes, he's been so fully converted, now he's preaching that same verse to somebody else, that you can only know him if you get his mercy, that's the only way, like that. Well, now it's after 8, but I feel like I'd like to continue, but maybe we have to stop. Maybe we'll just read a few more verses. Is it okay if we read a little? Sorry, I'm wasting time debating whether I should read or not. I should just read.
Samudra snan kodi Mahaprabhu shigraila chadan bakali Prabhu asane bosila.
After bathing in the sea, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees returned very soon. The Lord then washed his feet and sat down on a carpet to take lunch.
Bahut prasad sarvabhauma nailo tobe Mahaprabhu sukhe bhojan korilo.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya made arrangements to bring various kinds of Mahaprasad from the Jagannath temple. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then accepted lunch with great happiness.
Suvarna talirana uttam vyanjan bhaktagana sange Prabhu koden bhojam.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was offered special rice and first-class vegetables on golden plates. He thus took lunch in the company of his devotees.
Sarvabhauma pariveshan kodena pane Prabhu kohe more deho lafra vyanjane. While Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya personally distributed the prasadam, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested him, please give me only boiled vegetables. So he's feeling like I'm a sannyasi, I should take very simple prasadam. Just some boiled vegetables. Pitta pana deha tumi har sabha kare, tobe Bhattacharya kohe juri dui kore. You can offer the cakes and preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. Hearing this, the Bhattacharya folded his hands and spoke as follows. So Mahaprabhu is saying, you give me the lafra, the, very simple, vegetable. But Gurudev commented, lafra is very nice.
Yeah.
I had to admit, I don't think I really like lafra. Lafra would usually have that stick sabji in it.
Well, maybe sometimes,
Yeah, maybe not always, but it is a simple vegetable. I mean, nice, but not like nice. like what's that one that Janardhan Maharaj really likes? The bitter one. No, well, pasta, of course, yeah. But the other one, I always forget the name. It's a bitter. I can't remember.
Stick sabji I don't get.
Yeah, stick sabji we will never get. It's actually like a superfood, that's there's other names for it than just stick sabji.
It's like a bitter squash or something?
No, this bitter one, it has like Corella, bitter melon. It's a mix of
Bitter melon.
yeah, bitter melon, and then also eggplant, and then also have these little fried like wheat or maybe chickpea flour balls. Like, what is it called? Yeah, maybe you've never had that.
Yeah, you're in for some stick
We'll remember later. But anyhow, that is nice. But lafra, I don't think so. But Gurudev liked lafra. I mean, Gurudev actually liked everything, But he also had like a simple. He appreciated, opulent things too. But he also had like a simple taste, Like he liked mori powder and water. Like he liked that. Mori is the puffed rice.
Oh, just that.
So it's like this puffed rice, then ground. And mori is nice, but then mori powder, it's like ground into a powder. It's like...
So rice, like a rice porridge.
Yeah, but I mean, a rice porridge would be kind of nice, but like
Rice
powder, it would be like sawdust or something. Like...
thick.
Yeah, like baby food. Yeah, it would be like baby food. Yeah.
I've had something like that before, just because, I was looking at the health food store, I saw like packages of powder to make baby food with, and for some reason I was just curious. I wanted to try it, and I did.
And I always remember also that time in Italy when Srila Gurudev, they offered Gurudev some gelato, and he tried so many flavors, and then he concluded with, actually I like vanilla,
The vanilla, the plain.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Well, he would say vanilla,
Oh, vanilla.
because Bengalis pronounce V's with a B. So I'm Vishakha in Bengal. When I go to Bengal, you'll hear another name.
Okay.
So actually, I like vanilla.
Oh, that's very cute.
Yeah, like the simple, the play. I try to remind myself of that sometimes. It's such a beautiful example. Like you don't need to satisfy your tongue with so many different flavors. Like just be happy with something simple. My hard head.
It sounded nice though, because it sounded like he was actually very easy to please then.
He's a sadhu. He's a real sadhu.
Yeah.
So that is the nature of the real sadhu. They don't need so many things, And he wasn't always comfortable with. He was accepting the affection of the devotees, and like when devotees would
would offer him so much opulent prasadam when he's traveling. Like, he was actually doing that as a sacrifice, like, really, He's accepting people's affection. There's this one video I saw where he kind of said something, because it was actually a Kadashi, and it was a breakfast, somebody recorded a video, and this was in Italy one year, and they went to visit somebody, and it was an Ekadashi morning, and so they made all these like really fancy Ekadashi preparations, in the morning. And Gurudev was like a little shy, and he said, it was like a very gentle comment, like saying, like, normally we are not, taking so much, and normally we're not taking breakfast on Ekadashi, what to speak of all of this. And he made some like gentle comment, like he was feeling, embarrassed, a little uncomfortable. But, for the sake of the devotees, So, yeah. In his early days in the Mat, they were like really poor, and they would, for breakfast, they would just take plain mori, this puffed rice, which is it's like, Rice Krispies, but minus the sugar and everything, just like plain, like for like a bowl of that, this is breakfast. And it is actually nice, but if you have something with it, like mori and yogurt's really nice for breakfast. But he said they just have it with a few drops of mustard oil on top. Which is nice, but it's very unsubstantial, And he said that sometimes there was this homeopathic dispensary that would sometimes give them their old globules. They use those sugar globules. So these old sugar globules, like old homeopathic globules, they would use that for sugar sometimes to honor Mori. Wow. That's how it was, it was that simple. and there was this tree. It gives a kind of fig. And they would sometimes, because they didn't buy vegetables, like they would grow everything. And Gurudev said like a few things, he said potato was which is funny because now potato, it's potato, it's all potato. But then potato was a bit of a specialty, and they would buy like a few potatoes for Srila Sridhar Maharaj, for him, and otherwise they would eat what they grew in the Mat, And we heard Gurudev tell about this one tree. They would give a type of fig that they would cook as a vegetable, as a sabji. And but it would always have, they call them fire ants, these like big red ants. You probably remember Gurudev talking about that tree. And
oh my gosh, so you put yourself at risk.
So they would take turns. All the brahmacharis, they would take turns to climb the tree to get the fruit. And if you get bitten by those ants, I'm sure you've been bitten. It swells up. It's so they lived with a lot of austerity. So that's Gurudev's level. What he can handle, and what he's comfortable with, And so then, and he also joked how, when we were young and very hungry, we didn't have very much food. and now when I'm sick and I can't eat very much, now I have so much food. Gurudev's transcendental humor.
Yeah.
He's so funny, Srila Gurudev.
Yeah.
he was joking once. He was quoting some verses about like the mood of separation. About the mood of separation. Like wanting to be with Krishna, but you can't be with Krishna. Like he was quoting these like high verses, and then he was translating it as everything is on the plate in front of you, but you can't eat it at all. You can't eat any of it. You have so much wonderful prasadam on your plate, but you can't eat anything. So funny. You said, because you have diabetes. You have so much nice, this and that, rasgulla and gulab jamun on your plate. Because you have diabetes. You cannot take it. And Goswami Maharaj, he told that wonderful story when, because in Gurudev's last years, he had to follow a strict diet, and Gurudev would usually take prasadam with a few of the sannyasis, but Gurudev had to eat like a particular, prasadam. So Gurudev's servitors would serve. Like they would add some other things to the sannyasis, which they weren't giving to Gurudev because it wasn't, supposedly good for his health. And so there was this one time where they gave Gurudev's servitors, they served, and and it's actually not very nice. Now I'm thinking about it, like let's not, like maybe at another time, but like in front of Gurudev. So like when they serve Goswami in front of Gurudev, they serve Goswami Maharaj maybe like some pakoras or some special like rich thing, and then Gurudev he was observing this, and then he started to sing something, and Gurudev he was actually a professional singer at one time. He had a very beautiful voice, but anyway, Gurudev started to sing something in Sanskrit or Bengali. And then later Goswami Maharaj asked Gurudev, what is it that you were singing? You remember that? And Gurudev told him that it was an expression of, maybe it was Radharani, or one of Radharani's gopis. Because they're in Vrindavan, there are these two main camps of gopis. There's Radharani, and then there's Chandravali. And Chandravali she's like in a little bit of,
Rivalry?
Yeah, with rivalry, yes, with Radharani. And then, so she's always competing to try to get Krishna's attention and bring him away from Radharani to Saki Stali. Her grove is called Saki Stali. So she has like her own group of gopis, and so she would try. They'd always be scheming, like how can we get Krishna to come here, And so Gurudev he was singing this song. It was, let's say it was Srimati Radharani, that Krishna was going to Saki Stali, to the camp of Chandravali, but he was doing so like right in front of her. No, he was doing it right in front of her, going right past her, like pointedly going to Saki Stali. I was like, okay, if you're gonna go, then do it secretly. Like, you're doing it right in front of me, like you're putting a knife in my heart, like that. So this incident where they're bringing this special prasadam, like in front of Gurudev to somebody else, he's like, that's where he's connecting it to, like amazing, where he's living, Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he famously, there's a letter where he called Gurudev a transcendental humorist, Gurudev had this special quality, very, very great, sense of humor. And Goswami Maharaj, he also commented how, like the best comics, they keep a straight face, like they'll say something like really funny, but they'll do it with this sobriety, and that just makes it all like funny. Or you might be asking is this a joke or is this not a joke? There's this cleverness, behind it. And he told of this other time how somebody was visiting Gurudev, and then it came time for lunch. It was some respectable person, Bengali person. And then it came time for lunch, and then he left. And so then Gurudev was going to take his lunch with Goswami Maharaj and everyone. And so Goswami Maharaj, he asked Gurudev, why doesn't he stay with us for lunch? And Gurudev said, oh, he has a very special diet. And he pauses, and he says, meat, fish, eggs. This very serious face. And he would have, that Pandita, that twinkle in his eye, when he would say something. And he would do this word play and all kinds of things, And you could be rolling on the ground, and he's Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. They're missing you, Gurudev. But you're with us, we know. Will you sing, Pandita? Please.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jatavaya Namaha. Shri Guru Ranganatha Jai Jai Satvashat Shri Maha Jai Ranjarat Shri Bhagavatam Shri Ch.Ch. Jai all the world devotees ki Jai assembled devotees ki Jai Shri Hari Ram Ki Jai Jai Hari Hari Bol Sriyukta Vishakha Didi ki Jai. Do you know how to turn this?
Yeah, I think so.